how surprised were you when the reports came flooding in on Saturday and Sunday that the Sixers were the top team to get Paul George? How surprised were you guys?
Well, I wasn't. I was initially. Remember, I was one that it was hard to get free agents in Philly, and I still think it is. I think it's kind of double-edged sword for me because where I'm excited for us to get a guy like Paul, I still feel like it's the contract is the reason why we got him. Is because the Clippers decided not to offer him the money or the long-term deal more than he just came to us. You know what I'm saying? Like, same deal, he picks us. It's almost like he picked us because of, and I don't want to be the bad guy about this. I'm still excited. But I'm just saying I still kind of have that feel.
Yeah.
Like a part of me still feel like but that being said, in order for us to kind of take the next step, I guess this is what was necessary for it to happen. If things don't pan out, we all have a concern about the end of the contract. Things don't pan out at the end, you can, maybe that's a contract you can always move. I think, the way the league is going, it's hard to say that salary may not be very high as far as the top players in maybe in 4 years. But he puts him in. If you put him in a situation where you feel like on most days Paul George is your third best player, I think you can say that you give yourselves a good chance to win some games.
Yeah. Surprise a week ago, or more than a week ago, but yeah, I mean, on Saturday it was trending that way, right? Because Clippers weren't backing off. They weren't backing down what they were offering.
In all honesty, I didn't really want to jinx it or anything like that, but I did feel that the Clippers weren't going to go past what Kawhi got. I was firm. I was firm of that. They wouldn't go past either higher in number or years past Kawhi. And I just wasn't sure how serious Paul was about that fourth year. That was my real concern.
Yeah.
How important that fourth year was to him. And I guess now we know.
Yeah. I said this for a while on Twitter. I feel like it was a perfect storm for all this to happen. We're just going to get into all our feelings about this. I think it was a really big perfect storm in general because Kawhi's contract getting signed so early and the whole, as we figured out now, the disrespect that George felt because he found out about it when they broke the story. Like, no one called him. No one told him it was happening. That was one step of him being like, okay, that's a little weird, right? So that alone right there, I feel like as a player, anyone really, when your coworker gets a contract that you don't get and you weren't even told about, that starts the wheels turning in your head, right? Right there, whether you want to admit it or not, you already start thinking about, man, am I going to be here next year? Like, that's a weird thing. Well, what's going on? It already questions and puts doubt in your head. I feel like that helped him get used to the idea and get comfortable with the idea of not being in California for the end of his career. Like, from right there, you start thinking of a lot of different ways you can go. Like a choose your own adventure book. Like, who's got money? Who's got this? Who's got that? Who can sign me this offseason? And you start thinking about, and he gets comfortable after a while being like, would it be that bad? You start talking to your family about it. Like, hey, that whole Kawhi thing was weird. Like, what if I didn't play here? What would you guys think about that? Well, I mean, shit. Like, if they don't give you the money or they don't give you the offer, they don't give you the years, go ahead. Like, it's only a couple of years. Who cares? I mean, you come back and you retire here in 3-4 years. Like, you get one extra year, $50 million? Yeah, dude, go do it. Don't stay here for us, honey. Like, you get all those conversations out of the way. Months and months and months go by. A bad playoff happens. A bad stretch happens. Kawhi's not around for the playoffs. All these things just kept happening and happening and happening in our favor, like left and right. And then in the end, It was after all this, I will stay with you guys. Just give me that extra year. We won't do it. We think you'll stay. You want California that bad. Or, oh, really? Well, I've had 5 months to like ponder this, and I'm okay with it now. I'll go. Right? I know Joel. Joel's a cool dude. Philly's trying to win. I don't care what James told me about Morey anymore. They got that check with my name on it already signed. So he's not lying to me. He's giving me that 212 on a silver platter. So he might have lied to you, but to me, he's pulling out the pocketbook. So
I mean, the contract serves it all. So I mean, you put the money in, you sign that contract or you offer that contract. A lot of things can be forgiven.
Yeah. And to a certain degree, do you feel, Eric, that like after all the bad press Morey got with Harden, with other players, this kind of like not takes it away, but like evens it out a little bit? Okay, he's not totally full of shit. Like when he wants a guy, he'll pay a guy, right?
No, I mean, I don't. I don't, but I can see how people can feel that way. I don't feel that way. I totally feel that Paul came because they offered him the most money, number one, in the most years. And it's a team that with Joel and Maxey, he feels like he can compete for a championship. That's why he did it. I think
so. You think even with that money, you still don't trust Morey?
I'd say that the Daryl Morey part could be maybe fourth. I would say playing for Nurse more than coming from with Morey. I'm not trying to knock Morey Daryl for this. I'm just saying I don't think that's a reason why he came. I don't think that's high on the list.
Oh no. I'm saying, do you think it's like the whole after all the hard nonsense, like
no,
all this is being offered to you?
I do not, because it's still a perspective from multiple players that you still can't change how those guys feel because you made a move. This isn't the first time Daryl Morey has made a great move. I mean, he did trade for James Harden.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He has made great moves before. So I don't think that perspective is going to change because that's those guys' perspective, and I don't think they're moving off of it. So
not them,
but I'm also
perception.
But I'm also I'm also a realist, and I think that it's a situation where whatever's in the moment, if the Sixers are rolling, well, it just won't be talked about. But if the Sixers aren't rolling, then it's going to come back up.
Yeah.
So I think depending on how we do, things will surface like they always do.
I gotta say too, if you're gonna revisit things that have happened in the past like year with all the Harden stuff, it's pretty crazy if you think about it. We trade Harden because remember last year the rumors were we wanted George, and like everyone laughed at us, like Harden for George, yeah, right. So we traded Harden to the team, got 2 picks from that team. The player that we actually wanted in that deal got pissed off with the same management group. They paid Harden instead. I mean, they wanted to pay both of them, but Harden was cheaper in the end. So they went with the easy answer there. And that guy comes to us in the end. It's a crazy world, man. It's a crazy business how that worked out. Most basketball
James, what James can say, well, if you just gave me the money to act for it, and I could have stayed and we would have never went here. That's what I'm saying, depending on who you asking.
Yeah. But in the end, he accepted way less than what he wanted from us. So in the end, it's like, well, you know, it's weird turnaround in general.
But from his perspective, he's probably living in LA.
Yeah. He's happy about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it all plays itself out, man. At the end of the day, I think the justification for this contract is going to come down to, are we going to be able to accomplish what we haven't been able to accomplish the last few years? And that's to get past the second round, win the Eastern Conference, get to the finals, win the NBA Finals. That's what it's going to be about. And if that doesn't happen, and in most ways or in some ways, the contract will be frowned upon.
Yeah,
not just Paul. I'm just saying the move in general, because the move is supposed to solidify That right there. That's what it's supposed to solidify.
Well, like we were saying last week, right? Like, you got to make the move. Like, if it works or it doesn't work, okay. Like, but you got to make the move and let the cards play, right? But making the moves first, and don't be shy about making. Yeah. So, like, it was the right move. I'm not saying it's not. I know there's a lot of chatter about the money, but if you want to try to entice a California native to leave California, you got to pay.
Yeah, I think it's the extra year. I think that's what it's about. A guy being 38, going on 39 in that last year and making that, unless you're doing what unless he's able to do what LeBron James does at that age, I don't think there'll be many complaints. But it's not a lot of LeBron James walking around here doing that.
I'll finish up and then I'll ask you a question I want to ask about that actually. But so the last year, in my opinion, I think people are making a huge deal, and it is a big deal, right? He's 38. You're going to be paying him $55 million or whatever he's going to make that last year. I mean, nowadays with a cap relief, you might be able to trade him that last year to a team that wants to just, clear cap. Okay, first of all. So, I mean, that does happen a lot. If we have to, we can attach one of the 5 firsts we have around that time anyway. Second point, cap's exploding 10%. It's supposed to explode over 10% every year for the next 5 or 6 years with these new TV deals happening. So his contract's only going up 5% a year. So when he's making $56 million in 2028, our cap's going to be the NBA salary cap's going to be $205 million. So it seems rough now looking into the future, but in that future, it won't be as bad. That's going to be some guy's opening year contract number at that time. Like, guys are going to be making that in their first year after signing the ink. So,
I understand what you're saying, but at the end of the day, you still going to have 3 guys that's taking up, 70% of your cap?
50? No. Well, maybe. I don't know. I don't think so. No, I don't. No, yeah, close. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be around that. Definitely around 70%.
It would be. I'll go to it right now.
It's a lot.
So 205 would be the cap number. Joel's not on the books for that time, so I guess we'll see what he signs for. Maxey and
that's
George.
That's my point. So you got to realize if Joel is coming back, right, he'll be at 60 minimum.
Yeah.
Because that's wherever Tatum is, he'll be there. He may not get the number that's 5 years, but per year he'll be there. If this thing works, if it works.
Unless this is a topic for 3 years down the road doing our shows. Unless we're really close, his contract comes up and they're like, Joel, would you take 5 or 10 less to squeeze this guy under our cap? Lifetime Philly guy. Is he going to want to leave over $5-10 million?
What I'm saying is he's not taking less for it not to be used. He's taking less for someone to get it. So it's still going to be used.
Yeah, no, 100%.
So then then you put 4 people making 80% then.
Yeah, that's true. I'd rather that than 3 guys making 70, though, right?
But I get what you're saying.
If there's one guy,
that's where we're headed, though. I mean,
Joel after 15 years.
you look at Boston's cap, for instance. Look at their cap is their starting 5.
Oh yeah. It's incredible.
That's where we're headed. That's where we're headed. But we're going to be 3 or 4.
So Maxey and George that year will be $100 million between them.
And Joel will be 60. And you said it would be 205.
205, yeah. Unless they can figure something out there. But I will say, there's one guy you want to have the conversation with after 13 years in Philadelphia, it's Joel at that point.
Yes.
But yeah.
So we got to assume that we're assuming that the Paul experience works. which means if it's the only way it's really going to work is for Joel to work. And if Joel was working, he's going to get paid.
Yep.
Yeah.
I gotta say, kudos to you, Eric, because 2 weeks ago when that reports came out that the Sixers waned interest on Paul George, you said it was all fluff reporting and you didn't believe any of it, and look what happened.
Yeah. Also,
Yeah, it was fluff.
The point I was making before with the cap raising more than these guys' salary, this year those three guys account for 80% of our cap. In 27-28, they'll account for like 60, 65 or 70% of our cap. So it does start to clear up a little more because of how much the cap's going to go up, is what I was trying to say earlier.
But I mean, I really don't know how you can say that, because if Joel was free, he's going to hit a lot more. That's what I'm saying. Like, we really don't know what his cap is going to be. The higher the cap is, the higher he is.
His first year will be 60, right? So 160.
No, I'm saying the minimum is going to be 60.
Close. Yeah. Unless
Tatum is what? Isn't Tatum 60 right now?
Yeah.
I'm saying, but Tatum is 60 right now, right?
Yep.
Tatum,
right now.
50, the next year, 54. Tatum doesn't hit 60 until 27-28.
Right now.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying per year on average for the whole contract.
Oh, I thought you meant his actual cap number.
His actual average for his contract.
Oh, the average over duration?
5 years, 310.
Yes. 60.
Yeah,
62. Yeah, average. Okay,
62.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's what I'm saying. So that's a contract, the average of a contract this year is 60 of a guy that most people don't think is on Joel's level.
Yeah,
even though
like
he's
70,
really good.
It'll be like 70 plus then.
You know what I'm saying? Even he's really good. He's a champion, but people don't consider him to be the elite or MVP. You know what I'm saying? They don't consider him to be like that.
Yeah.
And he has 62 per. Okay, Joel probably be at 70. I said 60.
Yeah.
He'll probably be at 70.
70, which means like his number will be like 64 that year. Yeah. Well, I mean, he put his chips in.
Only in
Our
America,
chips are in.
boy. Blessings.
The
league got to expand, and they got to open up them. The league got to expand, and they got to open up them rosters, man.
Yeah.
Got to start hiring some more people, man.
Actually, that's a good question I want to talk to you about. Okay, well, the first question I wanted to ask you from before that I just remembered is, how do you see Paul George with his skill set, his size, everything encompassed? How do you see him aging?
3-point shooter that can ISO, post up, or isolation one-on-one against matchups, chasing matchups, being more effective because he won't have as many double teams. He won't see as much of a crowd. But he's going to have to be a consistent catch and shoot guy.
Yeah.
That's going to have to be consistent. Because I don't think he's going to be able to get it all ISOs. I think he's going to be a situational ISO guy. But he has to give us 18. I mean, he got to give us 20 points a game. Like, I don't know no other way to look at it. I mean, if he's giving us anything less than that, I mean, what are we talking about?
Yeah, unless it's incredibly efficient. Yeah.
Well, if he's incredibly efficient, then he should definitely give us 20 a game.
Well, that means Joel's number's got to come down too then, and Maxey's probably a little bit, right?
Why? Why do they have to come down?
Otherwise, no one's getting any shots except for these three dudes.
Oh, we paid them for other people to
No, I'm just saying, like, they can, but I mean, The rest of the team will have like average like 10 points total.
I'm confused. Like course, that's not the expectation.
What? Say it again. You broke up in the beginning.
So we gave a guy $200 million for 4 years at 34. We not expecting him to score 20 points.
No, I expect him to score 20 points. I just I hope it's efficient.
Oh, yes. Okay. So that's what I'm saying.
I said Joel's.
So what are we saying? Why Joel's numbers got to go down for him to average 20?
Because Joel averaged a lot with our third scorer last year, shooting the ball like 8 times a game. Until by his hair.
Those shots gonna have to come from somewhere else, not from Joel.
That's why I said the rest of the team will average like 10 points a game then. And that's fine.
The rest of the team got to be more efficient. Then. The rest of the team got to be more efficient.
Which is a good segue.
You get 3 or 4 shots, then shoot your high percentage on those 3 or 4 shots.
They're going to be wide open. Like everyone else is going to be wide open now.
I mean, Paul George ain't come to Philly. Paul George ain't come to Philly, in my opinion, for 4 years and what he got to average 15, 16 points. That's
a huge failure if he does.
They just criticize the guy for not doing that, for doing that.
Yep.
For the last 4 years.
Yeah, he's got to be 20 plus.
Yeah, you can't just stand on the corner the entire game. It's not going to happen.
Especially while he still has a lot of those ISO skills in him. Like use it, right? Like go out there and use it while you still got that ability.
Yeah.
On top of the other things, I don't want to take away from. All right. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
So obviously Paul George headlined free agency for us. But the other guys, obviously we brought in Andre Drummond, which everyone was happy about that. We almost acquired him at the trade deadline. I think we almost traded like 5 second-round picks to get him from Chicago. They declined it, but he ended up coming back in the offseason. Then we brought in Eric Gordon and re-signed Kelly Oubre and Tyrese Maxey. Just what are your general thoughts on the other additions outside of Paul George?
I think they're serviceable, especially Drummond. I mean, that's a need we've been talking about. He was successful with it before, and now he's back. So I think that he'll be successful in his role, especially when the times when Joel doesn't play. I think now you can be a little more restrictive on his play because you have Drummond. So I think that's a huge plus. The other guys are serviceable role guys that compete, play hard. I think they've been good at their roles in the past, and so it feels good. It feels good to kind of see pieces come together. Obviously, we need more, but it still feels good to have the pieces that we have because I think they can all play a role to help us keep moving forward.
Yeah. Love the Gordon signing. I think he's pretty much like the healed replacement for just an old vet min, which is great. Love the Oubre re-signing. I think he just fit in so well. I think Nurse brought out the best of him. I think he had a great time. You can just tell he had a really good time playing here, right? He maybe could have chased money elsewhere. I didn't hear about his market particularly, but I think he said it too after the season, right? I want to go somewhere where I'm wanted, in a place I feel comfortable, and I think it hit it on the head here. I think he really found his place here. And Drummond, I mean, I don't think anybody's making a big enough deal about it because everyone kind of expected us to go after him, so no one's kind of like, it's not like a surprise. I think if we never had Drummond and we got him, we would be like jumping for joy everywhere, right? I mean, think about it. We missed out on the 2 seed by like what, 4 games? If you put Drummond on our team last year, Aaron, do we probably have the 2 seed locked up?
Yeah, it improves. I mean, because that time that Joel missed, you can say we win some of those games. We win quite a few of those games.
Yeah, at least like 3.
So yeah, it does.
4.
That's what I'm saying. It does matter. It does matter, and I believe that this year the top of the race or the middle of the pack will be even tighter.
Yeah. It's just, yeah, I mean, I'm considering that Joel missed 43 games and we were like 3-4 games away from jumping up the standings, right, and being the 2 seed. It's just crazy to think that. And that's a Drummond away from that. What we've done already is just some monumental upgrades all over the floor, and there's a lot to be done, but great start. It's a great start.
You guys giving Morey an A so far, or you guys still want to wait till the roster's filled out before you give him a letter grade?
I mean, I think you can give him an A for getting a guy like Paul George. But like I said, I think the grade is ultimately going to come down to what the team does. Yeah. And that could be on Daryl, that could be on Nurse. But I think at the end of the day, where we are right now, it's everything is all good, but the objective is still there. Is this team with all these changes in this new direction, are you going to be able to get over the hump that you haven't been able to get over the last 2 years? Yeah. So I think, it's an A for the first quarter of the school year, but you still going to need the grade. You still going to need that report card at the end of the year.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, it's not even the first quarter. It's more like a progress report your first month in the first quarter.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. So, you got that
first
early quarter,
you
got them good grades, so you can coast a little bit the rest of the quarter. But, hey, man, you still got a lot of work to do.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd give him an A so far, though.
Still got a lot of work to do the rest of the school year.
So both you guys A so far. All right.
Yeah, I'd give him an A so far. That's fair.
And I love the story, too, about how everything, the flight was delayed and they ended up going there, showing up to his place in Los Angeles, and he's wearing the Allen Iverson T-shirt. I think it's pretty cool how that whole thing kind of mapped out last weekend.